Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here, and we got a list of 23 homes for today. I hope you had a great weekend. I managed to spend some time with my daughter yesterday, and we watched a movie called Mr. Peabody and Sherman. It was actually really good, or Sherman and Mr. Peabody. Really funny movie, great for kids. Let's start off with the first one on Main Street. And this development is called Bristol on Main. It's very similar to Maple Crossing, just across the road. $275 for this one, and it's a one-bedroom plus den. And they did some work with the tiles on that little island front wall there, and that's the den. It's about 9 by 9. It's not bad for a bedroom. It's probably sufficient for a baby. I don't know if I'd want to have like a teenager in there, but overall, one of the things that they can do is they can actually put 1+1. So I'm surprised when people with the plus den don't actually do the +1. And it's a Hampton model, so it's I think 893 square feet. And we've talked about this before, is that you can get a true 2-bedroom for just a little bit more money, or in some cases even around the same price. So I would suggest that the larger 1+1s from a value standpoint, from a future resale standpoint, probably aren't my personal favorite. But that unit looks good for what it is, and it is in line with what they are selling for. Child's is $287.9, and no photos yet on it. It's got one full bathroom upstairs, and then we've got one down below. Laminate floors. It looks like linoleum in the kitchen, and linoleum isn't necessarily old school. There's actually some really good modern stuff, but there's just no photos. I have nothing to go by on this one. Heslop is $319, which is towards the upper end of what condo townhomes sell for. I think the record in Milton is like $315 or something like that. I like this area. It's a nice quiet development. The kids can still play outside. Looks like they've done some great work inside the home, and even the tiles on the floors, they've replaced a lot of things. It looks like it's good quality materials. And if you were tuning in last week, we actually have the ability now to have up to 20 photos on the Toronto MLS. It only took them 5 years longer than they probably should have to actually implement that, and even replacing the closet doors. It looks like from the pictures, and again, seeing is believing in person, but this looks like a good reno from what I can tell in the small visual cues that I look at. Now, Hampshire Way is $352.9. And so it's in the main living development. And what I like about these, different than the Matamis, they have higher ceilings on the main floor, 9-foot ceilings. They've got usually nice upgrades and finishes. And we'll see what happens with this one here. Depending on the model, it appears to me to be right in line with what they're selling for. There was a big flood of them that sold at the end of last year, and it cooled down a bit. I think we're in for probably another rush in the spring. This one on Derry, and this one on Derry, and also the previous one at Main Living, has a small maintenance fee that covers the road. So they're called parcel of tied land. And so it's a freehold house in the sense that you basically own everything on your land, but you're tied to a common element, which is the road. So you do pay for road maintenance, garbage removal, that kind of stuff. Inside here, I think I know what model it is. I can't recall off the top of my head. And there's a good chance that you are facing Main Street here. You can see across the road, and that looks like the empty lot here, and Nairn Circle and all the rest of it. So, for being right on Main Street, it is a larger village town. I don't know. It's not really blown my mind. Raynor Court is a Linwell end. It's 1681 square feet. Price is $419. And I guess you can waste pictures now that you have 20 of them to do stuff like that, which has no purpose really in a sale at all. It doesn't add anything to it. They still managed to, in 16 pictures, to not necessarily capture, I guess, the essence of this home. It's actually a really nice floor plan. It's nice and open on the main level. And I don't think the price is that far off. I don't think it's super crazy upgraded. But the upgraded versions of these ones will sell, sort of $430, that kind of stuff. So at $419, maybe okay. It all depends on how it shows in person. Jervis is $424.9, so a little bit smaller than the previous one for $5,000 more. It's 1510 square feet. Kitchen looks nice. Generally people might consider doing hardwood on the main floor. We've talked about the budget for that in previous episodes. You maybe pay $5 a square foot for the hardwood, maybe $1.50 to $2 to install it. So in my mind, I usually say it's about $7 a square foot, depending on the quality materials. You've got an upgraded shower there. And yeah, between the two, this one and the previous, I think there's good points and bad to both. This one on Shepherd is the same size as the previous one on Jervis, but it's now a semi-detached, real semi-detached. And one of the things I'm just not sure about when I'm looking through these photos is right here, it almost looks like they've put two different kinds of hardwood together. And if that's the case, I could see that maybe not looking so good. Stub your toe, even if there's a different level to it. And the rest of it looks pretty good to me. It's a pretty good price for this model of home. Shepherd is a very quiet street. It's called a Lynbrook, and I'll show you the more modern version in just a second, with some slight floor plan differences. Panton is $435, and so you've got a finished basement here. Usually the builder has finished the basement on these models, and yeah, not super exciting in terms of upgrades, but there is a lot of finished space for your money. Now, this is the same version as the one on Shepherd, the new version of it. And so you've got your hardwood floors, some crown moldings and pot lights, but you really have to ask yourself, more or less, aside from a little bit more of an open concept design and laundry upstairs, is it worth the $30,000 extra? And Hepburn's a busier street than Shepherd. So these guys are on the high side. What they do have, though, is they have a finished basement. And I'm surprised if you go back through these shots, 0 shots of the finished basement. They have 11 shots left on the MLS. Fascinating to me that, and the funny thing is, direction, Thomas and Hepburn, Thomas doesn't even exist. I know what they're trying to say, which is Thompson Road, but Thomas is the street in Mississauga. Wind Trail is $468. It's a corner unit, and we've seen the corners. I'm trying to remember the name of this model. We've seen the corners sell. Like one just sold like a month and a half ago for like $440, and it was better finished than this one. So at $468, I think they're missing the mark. Something like this on Azleton you can get for basically a little bit more. We're talking about 2,200 square feet of living space. Not really. The kitchen to me seems a little bit small for having that much finished space. You're probably, 1,700 plus a basement. I would expect a larger kitchen. But when you look at the total finished square footage of a semi-detached, this one's not that far off in the price range. And then you look at this and you say, you know what? High fours, why don't I just go up to a detached home? 2 of these models in this list. It's a Powell model. Its price is $498. This is one of the most misquoted model sizes. It's around 1,900, depending on the elevation square feet. This one says 1,950 in the description. The corners do have a few more windows on the main floor, and California shutters, nice big. When you've got the higher ceilings here, you actually have a nice large window on your back door. Upgraded the flooring upstairs with a darker floor. The main floor is a bit more light in tone. And that's it, unfinished basement. It actually faces the woodlot, and it doesn't back onto it. But overall, I'd say this one is looking pretty good, and I like the price point. Tremaine is at $499. You're on an 80 by 190 foot lot. The one right beside it's for sale. I think it's still for sale. This one to me looks a little bit better. Also, the layout is probably a little bit more universally liked than the one right next door to them. And, this area is really transitioning. There's a lot of things happening in this area for development. And there's the new Tremaine exit. There's also developers that have basically taken a lot of the land here and said, we're going to build if we can. And it's at the Ontario Municipal Board. I don't think a decision's been made on it, but I would just be very careful with this areas that you're kind of guessing at this point what's going to happen. And the trend is development, right? It's just that's Ontario wants more homes to be built. However that happens in Halton region, we need more homes to accommodate people. And so you'll find that the OMB tends to just lean towards, well, let's build. So Newell is $519, detached home. The all siding can be a little difficult. the way that you can make it dress it up a bit is your landscaping, the color choices and so on the outside can matter a lot. That's your finished basement. There is your main floor. Actually looks like they've kept it pretty well. It's a good main floor layout. It's actually not that much different than the Powells that we're showing. And this is another Powell here on Ferguson. When you compare this to the other one on Lancaster, probably similar amount of street traffic. This one doesn't face a forest though. Upgrades inside, I'd call it a wash. So you got to give it to Lancaster for the difference in price. I mean, Lancaster's less, and that could be the difference for these guys. So this, sometimes when a home's priced a bit higher, it actually helps sell the competition less than it. So you really want to be careful when you're pricing that you're not inadvertently causing someone else to sell as a result of your high asking price. This one on Sprout, I can never remember the exact square footage. It's around 2,200 square feet. There's one big main floor room. They've done some pot lights, 9-foot ceilings. And then there's your kitchen, your cucina, as you can see on the cabinets there. And then you've got a second floor loft, and then you've got 4 bedrooms. I actually really like this floor plan. If you're fine with just that one room on the main floor, it can be a very positive thing. It's the rest of the house. The upstairs is great. Azleton is 2,127 square feet, and they've dressed it up well. But really, single car garage at 570. I mean, there's got to be something there. There's no finished basement. There's no green space or anything like that. So based on what we've seen, usually when you get up into this range, you need to be well over 2,000 square feet if you're a single garage, and you also need to have a really nice basement or green space or both to get past that level. So we'll see what happens with it. Cochrane is 649. It's one of the Spirit plans on a 43-foot lot, 2,500 square feet. Got a nice looking kitchen in there, and they've done some good upgrades. So maybe a little bit on the high side of what I consider to be fair, but I have a feeling this one's going to show even better in person than it does in the photos. And there's also a virtual tour there too. Nairn Circle, a little bit bigger than the previous one, 650. And again, they have nice finishes too. Pot lights, the California shutters, dark cabinets, upgraded counters. And this is one of those designs where you've got a couple in between levels. This room is right above the garage. I like the extra light that comes in through this window here. And there you go. So there's lots of competition right now in that probably 620 to 680 range. And this one on Wettlaufer at 2,730 square feet. I don't see a lot that would lead me to believe that 735 is ever going to happen for them. And it's funny what they wrote in the description here. So we emptied the space. This is funny. It's trying to kind of sell the benefit to the buyer. We emptied the space so you can use your own decorating imagination. Well, I've seen it firsthand. People have a hard time using their imagination in a house. You really have to help them along. And there's even things like virtual staging where you can actually place furniture without actually having furniture in the house using online images. So Bustle Crescent, 748. And the home is more than 3,000 square feet. It backs onto green space. I'll show you the location in just a second. Clean, tidy, simple. Yeah, no complaints here, really. It looks like it's all dressed up and simplified and ready to go, basically. There's your green space behind. There is a path, so it's not quite as private, but you don't get a lot of people walking here. Although there could be more, because what's happened... I'll show you the location here. So it's this house right here. There's a bit of a pie shape, not as big as the neighbor, which sold a couple years ago, but you have a little sort of creek right here, and then you've got your walking path, and then you've got the bridge that actually goes right over. So the bridge will lead you to the library, the leisure center, and just south of here is St. Anthony of Padua School. So there is reason why people would actually cross this bridge. And the last one is this one on 6th Line. It's $5.8 million. It's a former gravel pit and limestone quarry. So I'd be concerned about water table stuff. Whenever you're doing a quarry, you got to be careful of what's happening to the actual stuff underneath the ground, the water table. But it's 185 acres of that is land, or sorry, is lake, and then 312 acres is the total parcel. So you're basically, I don't know, the joke I was thinking in my head is you could buy this and then just build your own island on it instead of going to the Arab Emirates. But it's, yeah, I mean, you'd really want to do your homework on this one, but it could be a very interesting, it's something that we don't see a lot, and I thought I'd throw it in as our last little bonus property. So if you have any questions, give us a call, and we'd be glad to help you. And we can meet you at Starbucks, or we can have a time where you come on a tour of Milton Homes, or you can join us for our next buyer class. We're just trying to finalize the dates for April. So we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.